Victoriaville.
All right, welcome everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. We'll start with our roll call. Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
All right, if you could all join me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance and then followed by a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. All right, everyone. All right, next up is approval of the minutes from January 8th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, and moving on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Abeg and governing board members. This evening, we would like to celebrate and thank Jill Berrigan for 8 years of dedicated service as our board president. Each of those 8 years, her fellow board members have nominated and unanimously approved her presidency. And that is undoubtedly due to your leadership, boardsmanship, expertise, and steadfast commitment to your students, staff, and the Levine community. All of us have learned from you, and your words of praise and encouragement are treasured and deeply appreciated. We look forward to continuing to see you at the dais in your role as a member of the governing board. But on behalf of our entire community, Jill, thank you as our former board president. Now, if the governing board would please join me, we will take a picture, and we have a gift for Ms. Berrigan.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add on to that because I appreciate your leadership both from when I was a parent and then coming onto the board, and I know that Jill has done so much to lead the district, but also to teach everyone about boardsmanship and how to represent our community, and you've just been a great, steadfast leader over a lot of years here, so thank you.
Thank you. I thank everyone for the honor. It's been my privilege to serve my community on the board as well as president, so thank you guys.
Congratulations to Siddiqui Karoma of Levine Elementary School, our district spelling bee champion, and Hannah Swindell of Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, our runner-up. We are proud to share that both students will represent the Levine Elementary School District at the Regional Spelling Bee tomorrow. So we wish them all the best. And would Siddiqui and Hannah please come forward to be recognized? Board members, we will get you the information on the location of the Regional B tomorrow. But again, we wish you guys all the best as you head to the B. At Estrella Foothills Global Academy, 9 outstanding 6th and 7th grade students on the Scorpions Lego robotics team problem solved like engineers during the first Lego League Unearthed season. With guidance from their coach, Ms. Vale, and Ms. Williams, and mentorship from Arizona State University computational archaeologist Dr. Robert Bischoff, students designed the Washinator 3000, an innovative solution to addressing real-world archaeological challenges. Their hard work earned first place and a trophy for Best Innovation Project Design at the regional competition, where they placed 28th out of 66 teams and advanced to state. While they did not move on to the national competition, the experience was an incredible achievement and a meaningful learning opportunity for these students. This evening, we have 9 students with us, along with their teachers, Ms. Carrie Vale and Ms. Cynthia Williams. So, first, would Elijah Bonavong please come forward? Amelia Davis. Ezra Hutchison. And I'm guessing Kellen's not here either, right? Kellen Hutchison, okay. Addison Bougarine. Amara Pearson. William Reeves. Eli Schallenberger. And Grayson Simone. And Bob. The robot's name is Bob. And apparently he has now retired, so he's relaxing. And any parents, if you'd like to come up and get a picture, please feel free to do so. Yes, please, Ms. Vale, Ms. Williams, please join us as well.
All right, all smiles. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Again, in 3, 2, 1. Last one. In 3, 2, 1. Stay there.
Congratulations, guys. Okay. The spelling bee will be at Phoenix Elementary School District, district office at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And so, again, we wish all the best to our spelling bee champions. Levine Leadership Academy middle school students in the We the People group attended Civics Matters event at Cardinal Stadium, where they learned how to engage as active citizens and explore how the democratic system connects to their personal goals. And in just a little while, they will also be doing our classroom spotlight, and so we're looking forward to seeing these students in action. MC Cash's First Tee golf classes were invited to participate in Inspira Day, a special event that uplifts and empowers Latino youth through the game of golf. The Roadrunners have thrived in the First Tee program, building character, confidence, and resilience through golf and life skills learning. This event was televised on Telemundo, giving students the opportunity to showcase their skills to families across Arizona. Paseo Point Dual Language Academy 8th grade students were visited by Cesar Chavez, Principal Robert Grant, additional staff members, and 5 former Paseo Point students, some alumni. These guests shared information about the academic and extracurricular opportunities available at their school. Students were highly engaged throughout the presentation, and the former students valued the opportunity to reconnect with their peers and teachers. This is just one of the many things we do as a district to prepare our students for their high school experience. In fact, we have our LEAP night is coming up on March 25th, where we will have dozens of high schools here recruiting our students. On December 18th, MC Cash hosted its inaugural 21st Century Family Showcase Night. That is part of the grant that the MC Cash received, welcoming more than 60 families. The event provided a meaningful opportunity for students and teachers to showcase after-school learning while families explored the new 21st Century Community Center, featuring programs ranging from academic tutoring to enrichment opportunities like dance. The evening highlighted the strong potential of the program and its growing impact on our student community. On last Saturday, the Levine Lions proudly hosted their annual Levine Community Parade, celebrating this year's theme, Levine Vibes. With more than 80 parade entries, the event showcased an incredible mix of schools, including the best school district in Levine. We should just call it the Levine School District Parade. And so all of our schools were there, including our newest school, the Levine Traditional Academy, our district departments, as well as community organizations, local businesses, and elected officials, including the governor of Arizona. We are deeply grateful to the participants, and we had about 100 staff members there to support this event for our community. It had a ton of energy, and their support made this celebration a truly unforgettable experience. District superintendents successfully completed nearly 30 meetings with state legislators as part of a hands-on advocacy experience. Participants were formally recognized in the Senate gallery, observed committee and caucus hearings, and gained firsthand insight as to what it means to serve as a lobbyist for the day. This experience proved both impactful and inspiring, earning overwhelmingly positive feedback from all involved. Both myself and also our chief financial officer, you'll see there in the picture, were busy meeting with legislators, advocating for Levine and public education in Arizona. On January 22nd, this room was packed as the Levine Education Center hosted the second Levine Traditional Academy Family Night, welcoming more than 80 families for an engaging evening. Incoming Principal J.P. Ketchum shared an exciting update on the school's progress, including a flyover video of the construction site. He guided prospective families through LTA's rigorous academic programs and enrollment resources for the upcoming year. The high level of family engagement made for a memorable event as we continue building the foundation for this new school community. Speaking of LTA, we celebrated an exciting milestone for our newest upcoming school with a beam signing ceremony as governing board members, council members, Principal J.P. Ketchup, and I signed the final beam that they placed on the campus, which is set to open, of course, on August of 2026. The morning concluded with a tour showcasing the impressive construction progress and the innovative learning spaces that are beginning to take shape in our newest school community. It's really exciting, and the school is looking beautiful, and it will be a beautiful campus. On February 24th, the district will be hosting a parenting class by Katie McPherson, who specializes in digital wellness and youth mental health. This session will provide families with practical strategies and resources to support healthy technology use, navigate social media, and promote children's and adolescents' mental well-being. This initiative reflects our ongoing commitment to partnering with families to support student safety, healthy development, and overall success. And now we're moving on to our Employees of the Month, and our first Employee of the Month is Miss Lita Roa Yaya. Miss Lita, if you would please come forward. She is our supervisory associate at Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, and they proudly nominated her. She has worked there as a supervisory associate for nearly 5 years. For those unfamiliar with the role, supervisory associates are responsible for managing students and ensuring their safety during recess and lunch. Ms. Lita makes this important work look effortless, a reflection of the strong relationships she builds with students, the trust they place in her, and her clear, respectful communication with colleagues. No matter the request, if there is a need, Ms. Lita meets it head on. Thank you, Ms. Lita, for always striving to be the best at what you do. Your dedication and work ethic are truly valued and appreciated. A round of applause. Congratulations, and Missy Cox has some words for you as well.
I want to congratulate you. She has a difficult job. Imagine getting 100 kindergartners off the playground. That's one of their favorite things. I don't know. It's pretty challenging, but she does it with such grace and such passion. She treats every child like they're her own. She even brings out activities for them to do. She's just simply wonderful. I mean, who can say they've had a supervisory associate for 5 years? We are so blessed to have you. Thank you so much, Miss Lita.
Our certified employee of the month is Samantha Kitchell, 4th grade teacher at Levine Leadership Academy. Ms. Kitchell is truly one of the best at what she does. By creating a classroom environment that is supportive, inclusive, empowering, and engaging, she ensures that every student experiences growth in mathematics. She sees potential in all learners and challenges each of them through thoughtful, rigorous instruction. While a rigorous math lesson might sound intimidating, when delivered by Ms. Kitchell, it is clear, accessible, meaningful, intentionally connecting prior knowledge with real-world context to support deep conceptual understanding. Her commitment to excellence extends beyond her classroom. Known across the campus as a master of her craft, Ms. Kitchell is frequently sought out for her expertise, guidance, and insight. Thank you, Ms. Kitchell, for providing such a nurturing and inspiring learning environment for both your students and our staff. Thank you, Ms. Kitchell. Ms. Schaefer.
I know she doesn't like people to celebrate her, so this is her worst nightmare today, and that's what is so fun about this. But she deserves every praise in the world, and everything Dr. Sprout said about her could not be more true. And the one thing I think Ms. Grant and I would add is that if you want to feel joy in your day, you go see Ms. Kitchell. If you need to fill your own cup, you go see Ms. Kitchell, because she does nothing but exude joy and love and passion through her high expectations every day. So if you ever need a room to go to brighten it up, she is your lady. She has high expectations. She cares so deeply, and she makes math learning fun. So we are so grateful for her. Thank you, Ms. Kitchell.
You will see some upcoming events, governing board members, our drive, or I keep saying drive into kindergarten. We have no kindergartners that are driving in, and it's not a movie theater, or anyway. It is Dive into Kindergarten, by the way. We just had I was reading, okay. So Dive into Kindergarten is our kindergarten, and school open houses are coming up. We also have another one of our food distribution events, which are highly attended. Our parenting classes I mentioned. It is also, driving, it
Did you
is
create the
also,
slide?
yeah, I'll own it.
I like
It
Dive into
doesn't get
Kindergarten.
spell
I think
check.
it's great.
Our teacher job fair, we're now in teacher recruiting season, and so that'll be coming up, and then governing board meeting, but before that, we have spring break. So, and with that, we will turn it over next. Okay. I've been really excited to see this classroom spotlight. It's going to be a unique one with 4 outstanding students from Levine Leadership Academy and their teacher, Mr. Dees. But before that, I'll turn it over to Principal Sarah.
Yes. Hello, governing board members, President Abeg, Dr. Sprout, families, communities. Ms. Grant and I are so excited to be here tonight and show off our amazing We the People program. When they come up, when I introduce them in a minute, they do have some swag to show you of some of their awards. So make sure you check that out before leaving. And another celebration is Mr. Dees was just awarded a spotlight from the We the People Bar Foundation. There's a whole title, and he is one of the spotlights on their website now, full picture, for all his amazing work. So we'll shout him out too. He's got his hype crew here. At Levine Leadership, we are so proud to offer We the People. I know you've seen celebrations come across the board, but it's more than just activities that kids are going out and doing. It's really become a part of the culture in middle school, and we're excited to show off one of the teams today. It is part of the Center for Civic Education. Students are learning what democracy is, how government works, and the power of being a citizen. So we're really excited to integrate that with our leadership program as well. In Mr. Dees' class, students practice strong reading skills. They're analyzing text. They're creating arguments. They're deciding which evidence is the strongest and most reliable. So they are exhibiting all of their ELA skills in really learning how to be thoughtful citizens, how to take in information and decide what to do with it, and then come out with their own beliefs because of that. So tonight, you will listen to them do a mock congressional hearing of the First Amendment. And as they're doing that tonight, they've prepared their own arguments based on their texts, and you get to ask them questions. So I'm going to bring them up to the front, and please welcome Genesee to the front. We also have Destiny. Angelina. And Gariceli. And they are excited to lead us all in the preamble, as they do during their We the People class every day.
We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessing of liberty for ourselves and posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America.
Thank you. You guys may be seated, and welcome up Mr. Dees. All right, our topic for our congressional hearing tonight is the First Amendment, the freedom of speech. Our cheetahs will be participating in a mock debate surrounding the First Amendment, mock congressional hearing, excuse me. As the presenter, I will be reading some of the questions, and then you will have 2 minutes to share your prepared debate response. After each side shares, so we have 2 students on one side, 2 on the other, the governing board and Dr. Sprout will have 4 minutes to ask open questions to the students. So you have some examples in front of you. The students have not seen those questions. They don't get to see them in the real congressional hearings with the program, but you can also ask something related to the First Amendment off of your sheet. Those are just guides if you'd like. And then at the end, or during the process, Mr. Dees will be our timekeeper, so you will hear him hold them accountable to their 1 minute time, like a real debate. Students, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. The First Amendment states that laws shall not be passed that abridge freedom of speech. Why did the founders think freedom of speech was so important? Do you believe that there are times when freedom of expression should be limited? Explain your answer.
and is involved in everyday activities. Is it on? An example of this is what you wear, but can have limitations depending on the situation you're in. Like school, you can wear whatever you please if it doesn't cause disruptions to the educational environment. Under the U.S. law, freedom of speech or expression is not absolute.
The founders thought freedom of speech was so important because they thought it was crucial. It was a crucial element for the free society and functional democracy, stemming from the belief that is an inalienable natural right, an essential safeguard against tyranny. I think there shouldn't be times when freedom of expression should be limited because you can say anything, but if it is said in the wrong setting, it could lead to conflict or violence. As in school, children can say anything they want, but the consequences will be dealt with. So the same should go for adults.
The Tinker B. Demoy states that students don't lose their First Amendment rights at the schoolhouse gate, affirming that public schools cannot censor students' speech unless it materially and sustainably disrupts the educational environment in their Supreme Court. Do you believe there are times when freedom of expression should be limited? Yes, I do, indeed. These are the reasons I think this. For example, students can say whatever they want to another teacher or one of their classmates, but there are consequences for their actions, so it goes for adults. They can say whatever they want to their coworkers, but they have consequences for their actions.
The founders felt that the freedom of speech was necessary for a democracy. They realized that the free exchange of ideas, even if unpopular, was the key to informed discourse and the prevention of tyranny. This freedom enabled the people to speak out against their government, discuss important issues, and hold the government accountable for its actions, thus creating a government of the people.
Thank you. Governing board members, we will take it to you to now ask the students any questions you have about the First Amendment. You can ask it to the group in general, or you can direct it to a specific member of the team. And how long do they have again, Mr. Dees? 4 minutes. Thank you. Okay.
I have a question. Is wearing school uniforms, does that, what's the word? Does that infringe on your First Amendment rights as students?
I feel like your uniform does not infringe on your First Amendment rights because if it doesn't discriminate your gender, or if it's reasonable, or if it doesn't cause disruptions to the educational environment, it's no problem unless they have something to say about it.
Okay, good answer.
I also agree with her because I think in some settings you can't wear certain things and there should be rules on what you can and can't wear because there are a lot of bad people and you need to just be like appropriate at the place you're at.
In my opinion, I feel like the way people dress, I feel like it shows their, what word? It shows how they are. It shows their personality. In school, it's a dress code. Like dress code, for example. You don't want to wear anything inappropriate, especially you don't want to ruin the educational environment. So I feel like I agree with them.
Like Angelina said, I feel like you don't also want to disrupt the environment, and you want to stay focused in school, and you don't want to have any distractions as they say showing too much cleavage or showing too much skin. I feel like the shirts that we have for uniform are a very good fit, and they shouldn't fit too tight or too loose. So yeah.
Great job.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I need to say how incredibly impressed I am with all of you.
Mm-hmm.
You are 4 amazing young women. Do not lose your voice. Your opinion, your perspective matters. You need to you all speak so eloquently. You should be incredibly proud of yourselves, whoever their parents are. You should be incredibly proud of them. You guys did an amazing job.
Good. That's the question. That's the question. So impressed.
I have a question. So you guys talked about consequences. So what do you think is the is there a difference between a consequence and being silenced or being punished?
I think that there is a difference because sometimes they're like people that don't agree with you, but you're also just saying your opinion, and I don't think you should have a consequence for saying your opinion. But let's say you're at school and you like say something inappropriate to a teacher, like disrespectful, then I think that's when you should have consequences instead of being silenced when you're like saying an opinion about like the president or something like that.
In my perspective, I think that when students, like if they talk back to a teacher or another student or inappropriate language, they should get a consequence for their actions because not everything is right. Because when you grow up, there's going to be a bunch of consequences for your action.
Yeah, so about freedom of speech, obviously that's what we're talking about. When you say something to a teacher or an adult at your school or even students, it should have a consequence. Well, there is a difference between being silenced and having a consequence for your actions, but it's your freedom of speech. It's your freedom of speech, but obviously there will be consequences for your actions.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, do you see that there's a big difference, or what would the difference be between a consequence and being silenced or being punished for what you said?
I feel like the difference between getting consequences and being silenced is silence. You're not getting your opinion out there. They're not letting you explain yourself or for what reason you did it for. And then consequences is like you did it. You know what you did it. You know why you did it. And you just know.
That concludes our hearing. Thank you for your participation.
Students, if you please come forward.
Thank you.
Great job. Good. Hard to do on your toes there. Future board members. I mean, really. And the littlest one was the loudest one. Sometimes when you're tiny, it's like fight for your voice to be heard. I was wondering what this was about. When I sat down, I was like, I didn't know where mine was.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer, Ms. Grant. Would also like to give a big round of applause to Mr. Dees. This is a passion of his. He's done it for many years at Levine Leadership Academy, so thank you, Mr. Dees. You can't help but think we have the makings of a future law firm here, students, you were thoroughly impressive in a very challenging environment, answering questions you didn't know what they were. So great job to you and to your families. Thank you for being a part of the Levine Leadership Academy, for your investment in your children, and we're so excited to partner with you and see their futures.
All right, thank you all for being here, and just again, great job. We all know from experience what it's like to speak in front of all these people, and the way that you were able to eloquently put your thoughts together and explain what you're thinking is really impressive and such a great lifelong skill. And I love seeing that, how it can tie into ELA like you were mentioning as well. So just really great job. Thank you to all of you for being here and celebrating the great things going on in the district. We are going to take a short break before we go on to the business portion of the meeting. You're welcome to stay for that, or you're welcome to take your evening elsewhere. So thank you again for being here. Ready?
We're ready.
All right, let's do it.
It's gone.
We have a big crowd staying. I like it.
I like it.
All right, we're moving on to our aspirations to action steps mid-year presentation.
All right. Thank you, President Abeg and governing board members. Tonight, the council team and I will provide the board with a mid-year update on our strategic planning approach, which we call Aspirations to Action Steps. To save time, they're not going to say President Abeg, governing board members, every time they come up. So I've done that for them, and here we go. First, we start with our longstanding vision and mission statements, both of which bring focus on maximizing the success of all students. So how do we fulfill this vision and mission statements? Aspirations are the hopes of achieving and becoming something. We use this term to help us continually improve, as aspirations are future-oriented. They are not what we have done, but what we hope to become. They keep us focused on doing what is best for our students, their families, our staff, our community at large, and the state of Arizona. They are crucial to our continuous improvement as a district. And finally, a focus on the future, doing what is best, continually improving are all virtuous when done right. And so our aspirations are foundational to our culture as educators and as a school district. Here are the titles of our aspirations. Note that these are not rank ordered, but they are incredibly intertwined. We have also described each one of these aspirations in the following slide. These descriptions have seen slight modifications, and I want to emphasize that this is a living document, and so we make adjustments here and there to continually improve our aspirations. So it is great to aspire or to have aspirations, but what do we do with that? Every year, we go through a cycle of creating, executing, and evaluating action steps for each aspiration. And what we end up with is a document like this, which you have in front of you tonight. And so you will see the aspiration. This is one of the action steps that ties to that aspiration. How the action step is measured, who is responsible, and those are codes for different members of our administrative team. When we expect that action step to be completed, and then what the mid-year status is, which is where we are right now, and notes. And so the entire team is pulled together and added in their notes, and we have compiled that, and that is our living document. I'm sorry, coming up, we will do an end of the year status, end of the year achievement and notes, and then some of these will roll over into 26, 27. But the goal is really not to have items, action steps that we do as normal business operations here in the district, but that this drives innovation. So the cycle is, first of all, throughout the year, we are constantly revising and receiving input. This is the document you have there is a very live document. But starting with where we are today, right now in February, every February you will receive a mid-year progress report from us. And then at the end of the year, at our May retreat, the administrators will evaluate these action steps and begin brainstorming on action steps for the 26-27 or subsequent school year. Over the summer, we refine that. And in July, at our July admin retreat, we do a final review of the new action steps as an administrative team. 6 months after today, we will, at our governing board meeting 6 months from now, we will present an overview of the previous school year as we did last August, as well as the new action steps, an overview of those new action steps. And that will be provided to the board. And so, yeah, we will do both the previous years and the new years. And then in September, we will ask the governing board to approve the aspirations to action steps document at that board meeting for that year. So what I've asked council to do is we're going to take you quickly through each aspiration and some of the key action steps. You, of course, have all of them, and we're not going to go over all of them tonight, but we've taken a few from each aspiration to review with you. And so our first one is Sarah Zambruski, aspiration number 1.
All right, good evening. So some that we want to highlight from this first very important aspiration, student achievement, is the use of common formative assessments. So this is something that we're implementing throughout the school year, especially with our EM2 curriculum, as they have module assessments that keep it very simple for schools to give those assessments digitally, give students that practice as they would in AASA. And then we also have common assessments that we're also utilizing in ELA. So this is happening. Every school's at a little bit of a different place as far as how it's impacting their PLCs, but it's something we're strengthening. And this next year, it will be a very rigid process where we're utilizing the module assessments for EM2, our math curriculum, and then our new ELA curriculum that hopefully you guys vote to approve the adoption of that this evening. Also implementing Reading All-Stars for all second graders district-wide. So this is a new initiative we took on this year, and it's really exciting to let you know that so far our second graders have logged over 327,000 minutes of reading. So that is outside the regular school day. So that is really exciting. Also, we were real excited with some of our scores on Azella last year. 6 of our schools did receive all 10 points for proficiency and growth. However, we did have 3 schools that did not, and then we're always looking to improve until we hit that 100% proficiency. So our federal programs coordinator, Angie Gandy, has met with every school team, developed action plans with differentiated support to improve the EL proficiency and growth among our EL learners, and we're expecting by our classroom walkthroughs and things, we are expecting that the 3 schools that didn't receive 10 points last year will definitely receive more points this year, and that our other schools will continue to receive all 10 points for that. In addition, as you all know, and you heard of a great board presentation last month about the K-8 ELA curriculum adoption, so that was implemented and has been completed and is on the governing board agenda for tonight for your approval. And we did have 74 people participate in that adoption committee, so that was very exciting. Now I will turn it over to Jamie Camacho for aspiration number 2.
Thank you, Sarah. Of course. So aspiration number 2 is instructional excellence. We're working on a culture of coaching, and that really means that all of our instructional coaches are working really hard to complete a full coaching cycle. The goal is to be in the trenches with our teachers and to be working side by side alongside of them to ensure their growth and success. In addition to that, we've continued our instructional walkthroughs with our principals. The goal behind that is that collaboration and to make sure that all of our principals are getting to all of our campuses and seeing what solid instruction looks like to raise the expectation for for one another and to make sure we're all on the same page with that. We've also implemented Math Catalyst, which is the intervention program embedded into Eureka Math Squared. That was something that was released over the summer, so it wasn't available to us last year. It allows us to be data-driven and create targeted interventions for our students who need it the most. That's really been implemented in all of our SPED classrooms and resource and our self-contained as well. We've also been working really hard to implement and to use all of our district adopted materials with fidelity and on pace. So last year we were implementing a new program. We were working really hard, but as we were learning it and our students were learning it,
we were struggling with some of the pacing of that. And the idea behind that is that no matter what classroom your child goes into, every single student is going to get a rigorous, high-quality education by using vetted programs that we teach all the way through. And that really is the purpose behind that. We've really made great strides in that this school year. Our goal is by aligning leadership, supporting our teachers, and creating pace, that we're really working on that instructional excellence, that our kids are getting the education that they deserve. And with that, I will hand it back off to Sarah. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. All right, aspiration number 3, being student-centered. So first off, as you know, you all approved a new position last year with the Dean of Student Attendance. And so the plan this year was to structure a program to really decrease chronic absenteeism, as you know, is a nationwide problem. So I'm happy to report, our goal is to decrease it by 5% by the end of the school year. So we did a mid-year check, so comparing this year's chronic absenteeism at the midway point to last year's at that same time. And overall, as a district, we've seen a decrease of 3%. We do have a couple schools I'd like to highlight. MC Cash has seen a decrease of 6%. And Levine Leadership Academy has seen a decrease of 5%. So that is super exciting. And we take that by the number of days that we've had this school year, and if they've already missed 10% of that. So obviously there might be a few more as we move on, but so far it's tracking very well, and we're excited that we've already seen that 3% decrease. The other thing was to create a system of accountability to ensure that our students who are being assigned behavioral intervention lessons through our Compass curriculum are actually completing the lessons. We saw last year that thousands of these lessons were assigned to students, but we just didn't have that accountability to make sure they actually completed them so that we could hopefully work with them on changing behaviors. So the assistant principals came up with a tremendous accountability system, and overall, right now at this point in the school year, the district is seeing an 83% completion rate compared to last year's 26%. So a huge increase, and we do have 3 schools I'd like to highlight that have a 100% completion rate over hundreds that they've assigned, and that is Estrella Foothills Global Academy. Let's see, the other schools, Rogers Ranch STEM Academy and Levine Leadership Academy. So 100% is really tremendous, so they're doing some wonderful things. We also want to make sure all schools meet the requirements to earn a state PBIS award, and every school right now is on track for that. We will actually be completing the applications in April, but they've all hit their milestones and they're making those improvements in PBIS to hopefully all earn the level 4 for implementation, really with complete fidelity. And then investigating hosting parenting classes at the LEC, as you heard in the superintendent's update tonight. Our first one is February 24th. So we're excited about that, and hopefully we get a great turnout, really helping parents understand how they can support their student with digital wellness and youth mental health as well. And then implementing the principles outlined in the National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grade Reforms, school to watch programs in grades 6 through 8. So this is part of the Association for Middle Level Education. We do already have 2 schools that earned the Schools to Watch Award last year. That was MC Cash and Paseo Point Dual Language Academy. And we're excited because we did just find out that 3 more of our schools will be having those visits to earn that award, and that's Estrella Foothills Global Academy, and let me make sure I get this right, Vista del Sur Accelerated Academy, as well as Desert Meadows. So we're excited about that, and all of our schools are doing wonderful things with our middle school students, but it's nice when we can get recognized by the state. Now I'll turn it over to Tim Thomas.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
They're such a happy.
I'm not thanking you, Robert, when I come. Good evening. Glad to present on aspiration number 4, which is our employee experience and really things that fall under the human resources umbrella. Number 1 was an aspiration this year was to implement policies from the trust. So for many years, we've had our policy driven by the Arizona School Board Association, and in July, the governing board, approved for us to implement the trust policy, which we began in July and have implemented throughout this year, and it's gone very well. We've had to learn some different policies, but we've had a nice crosswalk to help with that bridge, and it's a much more simpler and easier policy to interpret. as you've heard a few times tonight, we are opening a new school in August of 2026, the Levine Traditional Academy, and we are creating a staffing plan for that. And one might think, well, kids are going to show up and you need staff members, but we know through our demographics that we usually grow between 2 or 3% every year. So that's about 160 to 200 new to Levine schools, and those go throughout the district, but we also know that school will attract existing families. So really monitoring where those students are coming from within the district, how many are coming from outside the district. We have a great system for doing that. We've already hired teachers for the next school year, and we have our staffing plan as well in the works. So excited about that. Another aspiration this year was to pursue a top workplace award. We've given surveys throughout the years in our districts to our employees, but we wanted to see if we were eligible and we could win some awards. So the first step in that was working with the Top Workplace Award, who partners with the AZ Central. And 2 weeks ago, they sent out, a third party sent our staff a survey. Some of the questions look similar to questions we would ask or we have asked of our employees. That survey closed last Wednesday. We have not received the results yet. There's a whole process that goes along with that. The first step was making sure that we had a 35% return rate, and we were at 50% the last time I checked. So we're well above that, and I'll be meeting with Top Workplace this week to talk about our eligibility and awards that we can apply for. So excited about that. And then the last one I'll kind of touch on tonight out of the many that are under aspiration number 4 is to investigate increasing leadership performance pay, also commonly referred to as Prop 301 or the Classroom Site Fund. As presented at previous board meetings, that is driven by sales tax revenue. So year to year, we could see increases in that money or decreases. Some of that money is used towards our salary schedules. So working with Charlie to see what the feasibility is in increasing that. The next step in that would be to take that to the Performance Pay Committee and then to the governing board for approval when that is ready to go. And that concludes employee experience. I will turn it over to aspiration number 5.
You'll notice,
Dr. Jess Ross.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. You will notice that we don't have any action steps here, and that is because action steps are always innovative in this approach that we use, but we still wanted to have innovation as an aspiration. So we will move on to number 6 with Robert Kaplinger. Dr. Kaplinger, yeah.
You don't have any fun here. He didn't hear you.
He didn't hear me.
I heard you.
And I'll hear about it tomorrow. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to talk about aspiration number 6, community choice. The district launched its new website on July 25. The new website better meets accessibility requirements for the visually impaired by prioritizing clear contrast text and colors, ensuring keyboard navigation is supported across all pages, and providing alternative text for all images. Additionally, the new site uses semantic HTML attributes for better screen reader capability. Second, this fall we contracted with the marketing firm of Davis & Beluso to design and administer a community survey and use the results to inform marketing for the district and messaging. The recently completed survey and additional market research undertaken by the firm will provide great insight into how the district could best position itself in a competitive educational marketing environment in which it operates. As next steps, the firm will provide recommendations on communication strategies and a messaging platform, which will be discussed and considered by our executive council. Third, in addition to our new dive into kindergarten marketing campaign, launched in January, and our direct marketing campaigns at the Winter Festival and the upcoming Levine Barbecue, we have collaboratively, with support from executive council members, school administrators, school-based registrars, and our student information systems supervisor, streamline the process for new student enrollment and registration for early entrance kindergarten examination by migrating all processes to paperless and online. In addition, with the support and guidance of our Kids Club and preschool director and school principals, all preschool parents received welcome letters from their existing and our neighborhood schools during parent conferences, welcoming them to kindergarten in the Levine School District with a description of the school's offerings and unique signature program. And lastly, in collaboration with the Executive Council and the Levine Traditional Academy principal, the signature program for our newest campus was successfully developed and marketed through print materials, a new webpage, social media campaigns, roadside signage, and in-person family nights. At Levine Traditional Academy, students will engage in a rigorous, inquiry-based learning environment rooted in the principles of classical education. This signature program emphasizes critical thinking, civic responsibility, and lifelong learning, and prepares students for the academic challenges of high school and beyond. Advancing to aspiration 7.
You still have the floor.
What?
I said you still have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Aspiration 7, alliances. Through collaborative efforts led by our community engagement coordinator, contributions to the Levine Education Foundation have increased substantially through the corporate sponsorships of the Winter Festival, Levine Legends, and the newly added golf tournament in partnership with the South Mountain and Levine Chamber of Commerce. Combined with district t-shirt sales and direct donations, over $40,000 has been raised so far to provide education scholarships to high school graduates that attended a Levine school prior to high school. Secondly, monetary donations for Math All-Stars, Reading Superheroes, Volunteer Squad, the Helping Hands Closet, hunger relief efforts, and signature program initiatives have also all increased. Key community partners include the Piper Foundation, Core Construction, Vulcan Materials, Chase Building Team, Sunbucks, and Procter & Gamble, which have provided over $30,000 in program support so far. Third, increased program support has also come in the form of in-kind donations equaling $15,000 for school-based needs with partnerships from Phoenix Children's Hospital, Chase Building Team, Verigy, Chick-fil-A, and others in the community to support Levine School District. This year, our central office and school administrators began using the newly established business partner donation guidelines for schools, which provide consistent expectations and procedures when receiving community partner donations, ensuring compliance with district policy and proper donor recognition. And lastly, through the combined efforts of our superintendent's office and our assistant superintendent of instructional leadership, the parent advisory group met on September 22nd and December 1st. This year's schools increased their representation from 1 to 2 reps, expanding parent voice and perspective. Topics have included student attendance, high school communications, school safety, and curriculum adoptions. The final parent advisory group will meet on April 22nd. With that, we will move on to Mr. Martin.
All right, so aspiration number 8 is stewardship and has to do with how the district is maximizing resources to accomplish our mission and vision. And this year, by far the most important aspirations in this area had to do with making sure that we have the physical resources that we need to serve a growing community next year. Right off the bat, constructing Levine Traditional Academy and the new classroom building at Vista Del Sur Accelerated Academy. I'm happy to report that both of those projects are underway and on schedule to welcome new students in August. Our construction is also extended to making sure that we have the resources here at the district office to serve a larger community and building a new transportation building. Later tonight, there is a bid award for that project that'll be on the agenda for approval, and we'll be starting construction very shortly after that. A few other areas that I'd like to highlight related to stewardship. This year, we aspired to implement electronic W-2s to not have to print so many forms and mail so many forms and use staff time to do those things. And just a few weeks ago, we issued W-2s, the vast majority electronic. So staff did have the option to opt out and receive a paper copy if that was their preference, but the overwhelming decision was electronic W-2s, and those all went out successfully. Finally, an aspiration this year was to increase student participation in our free breakfast and lunch programs. And year-to-date, participation in breakfast is up 11% over last year due to some different initiatives to offer more options at schools. And participation in lunch is up 2% over last year. I'll move on to aspiration number 9, advocacy, and the district stands up for the Levine community and public education in Arizona. We're continuing to sustain partnerships with elected officials and policymakers to support public education. Earlier this year, we had 2 city council members and a state representative celebrate groundbreaking for Levine Traditional Academy with the district. Just a few weeks ago, as you saw in the superintendent's report, Dr. Sprout and I were down at the Capitol through the Greater Phoenix Education Management Council and had the opportunity to meet with several legislators at that time. And we continue to participate in several groups that work to inform policymakers at the state level about how things work for districts, how proposed laws might affect districts, and different needs that we have as public schools. And I'll hand it back off to Dr. Kaplinger.
It's also my pleasure to give updates on aspiration number 10, safety. The theme of our safety initiatives this school year is integration. Under the guidance of our safety and communications coordinator, we are continuing to collaborate with school principals, support services, and technology with input from the district safety committee to discuss the locations and functionality of card reader access points and the access control system as a whole. Discussions to optimize these systems will continue, and will the strategic plan to expand their use, as will the strategic plan to expand their use. Second, having a standardized method for emergency response was identified as a priority going into this school year. As such, we have adopted the I Love You Guys Foundation standard response protocol and the standard reunification method. We have had a very successful initial training and implementation phase for both models in the first semester. Our initial rollout achieved high compliance rate and has proven beneficial. As part of the ongoing implementation, we will continue to conduct targeted tabletop discussions and functional exercises, and will host one additional staff training in the second semester for new hires and those who are unable to attend in the first half of the year. Third, as part of our compliance with efforts with ARS 15154 and amendments to this statute made in HB 2074, which outline the minimum requirements for the school safety program, specifically requiring school districts to have specific emergency operation plans, we are on track for our EOP to be completely overhauled and compliant ahead of the 26-27 school year, 1 year ahead of the state requirement. This will continue to guide our safety efforts and serve as our foundation for emergency preparedness. And lastly, consistent with integration and interdepartmental collaboration, our safety and communications coordinator and Kids Club director are continuing discussions to address and remedy the challenges and opportunities to maximize safety for our students enrolled in after-school programs. This includes continually improving our after-school safety protocols and leveraging our current systems to maintain a safe learning environment for our students after the bell rings. Thank you.
Before we go to comments or questions, I would like to thank our administrative team who carry out these action steps. They do it with great teamwork, and their work is incredible. And so thank you to our administrative team. And would also like to thank you as our governing board for your support. And we look forward to the August presentation, and feel free to give us your input and feedback in the months ahead. And with that, we'll turn it over to you for any questions or comments.
I just want to say that I think that it's, I know we've seen this before, but like so detailed. Like I like how it's broken up. I know you guys are doing tons of behind the scenes work on all of these actions. I mean, it's very impressive that there's this much structure and design, and also thought between all of the different things going on, no matter how big or how little. So I think it's really cool, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, great job. Thank you for all this information. I love how it's detailed, like she said, measurable, living, so we can update it and change it and see the growth. I had to chuckle though when Robert was doing the kindergarten enrollment one, because apparently I'm now enrolled into Vista's kindergarten for the upcoming year. I found out I accidentally enrolled myself. It was very early in the morning. So I might be.
So you can drive in.
So I will drive in to kindergarten. Full circle.
We'll let you be there for 1 day, but then you gotta let them
I
go.
promise I'll be very disruptive and I won't stop talking. So yeah, you'll kick me out right after.
This is your youngest,
Thank
right?
you. This was wonderful. It's my youngest.
I know. So she will be there, Jessica.
I'll be there all the time. I'm gonna live there now. Yeah.
Thank you for presenting that information. Yes, thank you. You know, every single one of those aspirations is incredibly important, so I think it's nice that you make the comment that they're not in order, they're all important, and they take all of those pieces to make us successful school districts for our students. So thank you to your executive team for making sure that each of these pieces is seen out and communicated and discussed. The document is incredibly helpful. It's very clear. It gives us, while there is a lot in here, I know this is just a snapshot of the actual work that's done. So there's work obviously put into the document, but the actual work happens in the things that your administrative team and your school sites are doing. And so I know that there's a lot of work that goes behind it. We, as a board, we can't go wide and deep into all of that things. That's not our role. So we appreciate you guys being responsible for that. And we believe in you as you have an amazing leader with Dr. Sprout, but you guys are all incredible as well. So thank you.
Like everybody said, but I just appreciate the intentionality behind this, because it's not just an item in the document to check off the list. That item that's there is really truly either going to change instruction, change the outcome of our kids and their success as a leader, and just ensuring that we have the finances to support all of the materials needed, et cetera. And so, and just, the safety. So it's very intentional, and I just appreciate your time and efforts in that, just to make Levine Schools great.
Yeah, thank you again, and I appreciate the mindfulness for our current students as well as the forward thinking of what is the future of our district, because we know that there are a lot of challenges throughout the state as districts embrace where their community is taking them and the changes in population, and I know that there's a lot of thinking of how are we preparing our community to weather the changes that come and be really responsible with the bond money that we are so grateful for, that the community supports. And so I just appreciate the breadth of thinking on this and planning to be responsible.
And just to say one other thing really quick too, is that it's not all gonna happen overnight. And so it's gonna take time to do all of that work, and it's gonna be messy at times, and it's gonna be difficult. But just sticking to that and working through those difficult challenges, you guys will come a long way, so.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, next we have our Arizona Auditor General School District Financial Risk Analysis presentation with Charlie.
All right, President Abeg, members of the board, and Dr. Sprout. A little bit later on tonight, the results of our annual audit and our audited financial statements will be on the board agenda for approval. And every time we have a financial report that comes to the board, I always like to remind everyone that the data doesn't stop here. Things go on to the state. Oftentimes, things even go on to the federal government. And so the report I'll talk about tonight is one of the ways that the data that we report each year gets used in another report, another analysis, and I'll walk through this Arizona Auditor General School District Financial Risk Analysis, explain what the data looks like for our district, and be happy to answer any questions. So the Arizona Auditor General School District Financial Risk Analysis has been in the news a little bit lately. Not as much as it was last year. Last year there was quite a bit of coverage of this report because one district was having some fairly public financial challenges. This year I've seen a couple of news reports announcing that this data is out there, but maybe not as much focus. But the reason that's been the case is because the report was just updated about 2 weeks ago with data from last school year. The school year ended in June of 2025. I won't bury the most important information about this report, and that's that our district was not identified as one of the highest risk districts. And of the 10 different measures the Auditor General looks at for the second straight year, we were not identified as high risk for any of those 10 measures. Even after saying that, and I'm very happy to be able to say it, I want to say something similar to what I mentioned last year, in that those 10 measures the Auditor General looks at really shouldn't be looked at in isolation, and there's many districts out there that are tagged as high risk for 1 or 2 measures, but are taking steps to mitigate that risk, and it will never become a larger financial problem. For example, school districts are identified as high risk if they have declining enrollment, but if a school district is properly budgeting for the declining enrollment, adjusting expenditures appropriately, that's not going to filter into financial results or create larger financial problems. That said, there were 9 school districts that were labeled by the Auditor General as highest risk districts this year. That is an increase over 2 school districts that were labeled that way last year. Last year, the 2 districts that were in that category were both in receivership, This year, there are some other school districts that have been put in that category that are not in that situation. District leadership and all of our governing board members recently received this email from the Arizona Auditor General. This announced that the report was available for this school year, updated with financial data from last year. Includes a bit of information about the results for our district. I believe it says in there that we were not identified as high risk for any measure. And this is really one way that the Auditor General tries to take complicated financial information and put it into a more digestible format for governing board members and leadership, and create some discussions around financial data and maybe go into a little bit more detail than what the report itself does with these fairly high-level measures. I'll talk a little bit more about the measures that the Auditor General looks at. In general, there's some indicators that have to do with things that have an indirect impact on finances, so not a direct change in dollars, but things that can play into that. Some of the measures have to do with financial reserves or the amount that districts have set aside for future needs. And some of the measures have to do with district operations and what the result of the budget or operations look like from year to year. So the first measure that the Auditor General looks at is what's happening with weighted student count for a school district. In Arizona, funding is tied very closely to current year student enrollment. So if a district has declining enrollment from year to year, they'll have declining funding from year to year. If a district has growing enrollment, they'll generally have growing funding from year to year. We're very fortunate to be a growing school district. Over the last 4 years, our weighted student count has increased by more than 10%. It increased by about 3% last year, and we're up over 1.7% year to date so far this year. For this particular measure, if a school district was declining by more than 2.5% year over year, or more than 5% over a 4-year period, that district was tagged as high risk for this measure. But again, any measure in isolation doesn't tell you the whole story, and districts are certainly declining enrollment and still doing very well financially. The next few measures that the Auditor General looks at has to do with financial reserves, which you can think of as a rainy day fund or money in the bank for future needs. The first type of financial reserves the Auditor General looks at is reserves in our operating budget or our maintenance and operations budget. For our district, fund balance or reserves have been growing the last few years, and so we're not considered high risk for this measure. If a district saw their reserves in the maintenance and operations fund decline by more than 25% year over year, they would be flagged for this particular measure. The next measure that the Auditor General looks at is also tied to financial reserves, except this looks at a different pot of money. This is capital reserves, money that's set aside for capital projects. We've accumulated financial reserves over the last several years, and so we were not tagged as high risk for this measure. Similar to the maintenance and operations reserves, if a district saw a year-over-year decline of 25% or more, they'd be tagged as high risk for this measure. But I want to pause on this slide for a second and reiterate what I said earlier, that you really can't look at these measures in isolation, and I bring that up again here because our district has very intentionally saved money for known capital needs over the last few years, and we'll be spending about $8 million to build our new transportation building over the next year or two. And so I think it's possible that in a future iteration of this report in the next 2 or 3 years, we could potentially be tagged for this individual measure, but accumulating and spending money intentionally for a capital project is very different than having an imbalanced budget and reserves going down that way. And so when we talk to our bond analysts with the rating agencies, they draw a very significant distinction between spending for one-time capital projects and spending of reserves for other things. The Auditor General's financial risk analysis also looks at reserves across a school district's general fund, which combines several different state-level funds that we report. We have, again, been healthy with our general fund reserves, and we're not tagged as high risk for this measure either. The next measure here, general fund operating margin, this starts to shift from looking just at reserve levels to looking at what's happening between revenues and expenditures each year. If a school district is spending less money than it brings in, then you end the year with more resources than you started, you're in a stronger position than you began, and you can do that in perpetuity if nothing else changes. If a school district spends more money than it brings in a given year, that's a different situation. You can only spend more money than you bring in for a limited amount of time, essentially until your reserves run out. Just like an individual, you can only spend the money that you make in a year. Otherwise, at some point, your bank account will be drained, your credit card will be maxed out, and there's no more capacity. Fortunately for our district, we spend less than we bring in the last few years. We've not been tagged as high risk for this measure. And you'll see that carries forward to the next measure that the Auditor General looks at, which is what has the change in fund balance been from year to year. So this risk analysis looks at reserve levels. It also looks at the relationship between revenues and expenditures, and then what the change in fund balance or reserves is from year to year, which is the result of the relationship between revenues and expenditures. Our fund balance in the general fund has increased the last few years, so we were not tagged as high risk for this measure either. Oops, I think I went back accidentally. The next item the Auditor General looks at is a little bit unique to Arizona in the way that we fund schools. So I mentioned earlier that school district funding is tied very closely to enrollment, but the formula itself is a lot more complex than that, and there's different buckets of funding within the formula for capital needs and for maintenance and operation needs like salaries and supplies, capital needs being curriculum, textbooks, buildings, things like that. And the Auditor General looks at whether a school district is redirecting any money from the portion of the formula intended for capital over to operations. And the logic there is that if you're moving money from the capital formula to operations, it's possible that you're not making the investments you should be in preserving your buildings and keeping your capital assets in the condition they need to be, and that at some point that will come to a head and you'll need to spend more on capital. Our district has not redirected any funds from the capital portion of our budget to operations, and so we were not considered high risk for this measure. If a district was reallocating 25% or more of the capital formula funding over to operations, then a district would be flagged for this particular measure. There's a few kind of unique niche items that the Auditor General looks at, and neither apply to us, but I'll briefly describe these. One is whether a district has what's called a small school budget limit adjustment. This is a property tax capacity that very small school districts, 125 students or less, have. We're much larger than that, and there's no risk that we'll grow from 100 kids to 200 kids and lose a funding source. So this does not apply to us. We're not considered high risk for this measure. The next one is whether or not a district has a frozen tax rate, which is something that can happen when each of the taxing jurisdictions in an area have a combined rate that exceeds what's allowable under the Constitution, and this is not something that applies to our district. We don't have a frozen tax rate, and so this is not a high-risk area for us. The 10th and final measure that the Auditor General looks at is whether or not a district's in receivership. As I mentioned earlier, there's only 2 districts in the state that are currently in receivership. In order to be placed in receivership, there need to be financial challenges that result in a district being referred to the State Board of Education, and then the State Board of Education determining that a third-party receiver should be given decision-making authority over the district's finances. That, of course, doesn't apply to us, and so we were not considered high risk for this measure. So in summary, based on the Auditor General School District financial risk analysis for this year, we were not considered to be among the high-risk districts. We were not considered high risk for any of the 10 measures that they look at each year. I do highlight that it's possible that our cash funding of capital projects and putting resources away for that could potentially result in one measure being flagged in a future version. But again, context matters a lot, and spending money for a capital project that was planned is very different than overspending an operating budget. If you're interested in digging into this in a little bit more detail, the first link on this slide will take you to the overview page on the Auditor General's website where they describe what this report is, how it can be used. The second link on this slide is statewide results, so it'll show which 9 districts were categorized as highest risk this year. Also, for every district in the state, which, if any, measures were tagged as high risk. And then the third link is our individual Levine School District results, which is the same data that I just presented on these slides. And that's available to the public for any district in the state. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the Auditor General's School District Financial Risk Analysis Report.
I don't have any questions, just a couple of comments. So one, it's just interesting to see the similarities and differences in those categories just between Levine and the district I'm in during the daytime. and why some of our things are not a risk right now for various reasons, or why some things are a risk. So it goes to highlight your point that within each of those there is context around why things are happening that are important. So for example, when we do expend our $8 million for the transportation building, we should expect to see that flag up there. But we know why that is. There is reason and context behind that for us as board members and for our community about why that's there. And then the other thing I wanted to say, I don't know if most people know this, but there's 2 reasons school districts can go into receivership in the state of Arizona, and one is for financial issues, and the other is for academic issues if you continue to not perform academically. No school district in the state of Arizona has ever gone into receivership for academic reasons. There have probably been about 20 in the last 20 years or so that have gone into receivership for financial reasons, and it highlights the importance of why you need somebody this good doing the job. So we're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for keeping us all on board and on track. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Board members, President Abeg, a recognition of our business services department. They are outstanding, and as Charlie said, this is the result of a whole year's worth of work, and we're very thankful for the entire team that we have in that building. We are a multi-million-dollar business. Ashley Miranda,
Yes.
we have other Julie and Brenda I see back there. We got our just a whole team that is out here doing incredible work, the best in their fields, all of them. So we are very blessed.
Yes.
Good evening, President Abeg, governing board members, Dr. Sprout. The district's fiscal year 2025 annual comprehensive financial report, single audit, and compliance questionnaire are on the agenda for approval tonight. Approval of these documents is the final step in closing our books for last fiscal year, which ended on June 30th, 2025. These documents have been audited by meaning that they have been reviewed by our third-party certified public account firm of Advisant Assurance LLP, and formerly known as CWDL CPA.
I'm so sorry. Can you give me 1 second? Are we off order in agenda?
We are, but that's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were going to do this right before the agenda item, but we're just going to keep rocking.
Okay, got it.
and roll.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, keep going.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No worries. State law requires that a school district's governing boards accept the audit results by a roll call vote. Attached to the board agenda items, you will find the annual comprehensive financial report, single audit for federal processes, and the compliance questionnaire, which were all completed by our auditors. And you all will have a copy of each report to have some fun reading. The district once again received an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get from an audit firm. And we also qualified as a low-risk auditee. The ACFR files have been submitted to the Arizona School Business Officials International and the Government Finance Officers Association for Excellence in Financial Reporting Awards, which we have received in the past and anticipate to receive again for this audit. As I mentioned this in this agenda item, this is the final step to closing our books for last school year, and wanted to just quickly review some key notes from the budgets and reports. So in June 2024, we formally proposed a budget for fiscal year 25. The budget was then adopted in July of 2024 and revised to align with the actual year-to-date numbers in May of 2025. Last August, our auditors were on site to kick off the annual audit. During this time, they've requested samples and documentations for review. In October, we completed the state financial report, annual financial report, which is an unmodded year-end financial report. And then our auditors came back in November and requested additional samples and documentation for review during our encumbrance period, which is 60 days after June 30th, and finalized any outstanding items that were requested from their first visit. I'd like to take this time to thank all the departments and individuals who assisted with all those requests from either myself or the auditors. This truly is a team effort that I appreciate everybody's cooperation and assistance. And tonight we have the final audited reports on the agenda for approval. For this current fiscal year, 2026, we have passed the first 2 steps in the process, and in May we will revise our budget. And then for next fiscal year, 2027, we will propose a budget in June. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions in regards to the financial reports.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, we'll vote on this in the consideration for an action section a little bit later. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., Charlie and Ashley will be doing a private reading for, well, anyone can come. Charlie's going to make his famous blueberry granola muffins and just be here at 7, and they will take you through all over 100 pages of this audit report. So.
You have me at muffins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come for the muffins. If
All right, thank you for all of that. All right, we'll move on to our call to the public, which we do not have any. So moving on to our consent agenda.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and Jeff has some comments for that.
Yeah. Thank you, President Abeg.
I think we have someone out in the hall that needs to come in, though.
Okay.
Right?
Alert.
No, never mind. I'm
Alert.
sorry, you came in. Never
Okay,
mind. I think
all right,
that
we're good.
I was looking for someone who's already in here, but now I see him. Sorry, never mind.
I have 3
Sorry.
congratulations and 2 thank yous that are off of this personnel report. First of all, we have 3 staff members that have journeyed through our district to the point of being promoted as assistant principals, or to the position of assistant principals. So our first assistant principal that you just approved is Irving Barraza. So congratulations, Irving. Irving is currently the Dean of Students at Desert Meadows School and will be the assistant principal at Estrella Foothills Global Academy. Next, we have Jennifer Brace. And company. Jennifer is currently serving as the Dean of Students at Trailside Point Performing Arts Academy and will be the assistant principal at Levine Traditional Academy, opening our new school, helping to open our new school. Third, we have Gabriel Zermeno. Gabe currently serves as the EL coach for the district at MC Cash and Levine Leadership Academy, and he will be the assistant principal at MC Cash next year. So congratulations to these 3. Let's give them another round of applause. I also see some very proud family members, loved ones, and friends and children who are like, we never want to come back to this place again. Don't worry, whoever your new administrator in your family is, they will be here, but we won't make you go. So, but congratulations to you as family and friends. This is a big deal, we know, for your families, and to watch a family member grow and to get this prestigious position is very, very special. So congratulations. I also would be remiss if I did not acknowledge 2 assistant principals that we are moving to different campuses next year. And they have both had a tremendous impact in their work as assistant principals for many years at their campuses and in other positions at their campuses. But Asia Glover, our assistant principal at Estrella Foothills Global Academy, who will be moving to Desert Meadows. Thank you, Asia. And Rayanne Morgan, who made the journey from teacher to instructional coach to assistant principal at MC Cash, will be going over to Levine Leadership Academy. So thank you to both of you.
And thank you for being here and staying with your families. I'm glad that the families could be here to celebrate. And I love seeing this growth within the district, and that's one of our goals here. And so seeing these familiar faces over the many years in the district continue to be in our community, I appreciate that. And I'm glad to see you guys moving up through the ranks. So, all right, moving on to board consideration and/or action. We are starting with our English Language Arts curriculum adoption. Moving on from our, oh wait, you guys are all looking at me like I'm doing something wrong. Okay. All right, so we're moving on to that, and I'm excited to hear the end of the cliffhanger, even though I think I know what it is. So. All right.
We're just doing
Just a motion. We're just doing the motion. We're not getting any more information. Oh, okay. All right, so I'll take a motion.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Certified specialist, administrative, classified, and guest teacher salary schedules for fiscal year 2027.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, certified contracts for 2027.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Single year administrator contracts for 2027.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm forgetting to ask you guys if you want any discussion, so I'll add that in. Stipend schedule for 2027.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, independent audit and USFR compliance questionnaire for fiscal year 2025. Do you have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
And then this one's going to be a roll call, but do we have any discussion?
No.
Okay. Yes.
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 Contract for new transportation building and the Levine Education Center renovations.
Motion.
Second. Oh, sorry.
Any discussion?
Yes, I want to say thank you, as always, to, oh, this one's not voters, this is buildup of DAA. Okay, but always thank you to our voters.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And utility easement for the Phoenix apartment owner at school site number 11.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Comments from the board. We'll start at the end and work our way back.
I get to start again, which is good, because then I don't have to think about saying something more unique. I don't know. Thanks for everyone. Okay, I don't know what to. That's it. Goodbye. No. This was great. Thank you for all your time and effort. I know that that's like a tiny little piece, the tip of the iceberg of that presentation of all you do all the time. So thank you so much for everything you guys do, to the executive team and to everybody else. I guess we'll see you after spring break. So have a great rest of the February month. I don't know. It's late. I don't know what's happening. I have to go coach a basketball team after this, and it's going to be hard for them, I know, and me. But have a great spring break, too, and thanks for all you do, and thanks, everybody. There you go.
Thank you, Mikkel. I just want to say congratulations to all of the promotions and transfers. I know that some of you have been in roles and at schools that you have loved so dearly for, sometimes years, but when one door opens, when one door closes, another one opens. And I think that you guys are going to do amazing at your new schools. There's some new partnerships coming out. We did not break up the principals.
Yeah.
They're tied at the hip. I don't know what's going to happen with them. Just kidding. But I congratulations, everybody. That's such an amazing achievement for all of you. And I feel like we just got back from winter break, and we are not meeting again until for spring break. That's wild to me that we're jumping into the fourth quarter already. But I hope you all have an amazing spring break, even though it feels a while away. We just won't see you again. Thank you for keeping our kids safe. Thank you for keeping our administration safe, administrators, staff. And as a Vista parent, I have loved driving through Driveline and seeing all of the progress in the new building. It's actually like, and the kids are like fascinated by it. Every day they come home like, Mom, there's bricks outside today. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. And then even the other day I was driving the 202 and my husband's like, dang, that school is coming along fast. So like there's so much movement, and I'm really excited to see Eric's new building in the future, because I love the transportation team, of course. So, so much fun stuff going on.
Is that what we're putting on top?
Eric's transportation building.
Yeah,
The Kissel
Building
car
K.
parking, Kissel car wash, right in the back. You can make that happen.
Love it. I just want to say thank you for everybody for everything that you do. The little stuff, the big stuff, the hard stuff, the easy stuff, all of it is very much appreciated. I much prefer recognizing other people than myself. I don't know if you can tell how uncomfortable I am when that happens, but it's incredibly uncomfortable. So let me just say what I should have said at that time, which is, yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for trusting me in the community to lead and amongst us as board members to lead. I don't know whose idea this was, but this is very sweet, and I will cherish this forever because it is nothing but positive memories for me. So thank you.
That's good. And well, I was thinking about this at the end of last board meeting as well, but I just think it's so great just thanking the administrators and the teachers that you're living up to your theme this year of building futures, and seeing the students this tonight in a debate and speaking so clearly, laying that foundation. And even last board meeting when we had Ms. Williams with the science, really taking the time to just build that foundation for our future leaders and building that future. And my kids had both had Mrs. Williams as a science teacher back in the day, and they are both in college. And there are many times that they have mentioned the some of the things that they have learned in science or in elementary school has helped them with what they're doing right now. So thank you for building that foundation and living up to that theme that you guys are working on this year, and just being intentional with our future leaders.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. I love being here to celebrate and see the best in the business, as you say, for all across the district. And we're really fortunate in Levine to have everyone in this room and everyone that's working with you. So thank you for all of your work, and keep it up and enjoy your February here. All right. Yeah. So that's it, you guys. We're gonna we're gonna have to adjourn our meeting until our next one, which is March 19th after spring break, like we said. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Everyone thinks, oh my Lord, we got all these.